She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Her heart was racing, as if it was hiding a secret too dangerous to reveal. He was standing in front of her, so close she could feel the heat of his breath brushing against her skin. Every second of silence between them felt louder than words, but neither of them spoke, as if words weren't even necessary anymore. With a faint smile, he whispered, "There's something I've been wanting to tell you tonight." She froze, her lashes fluttering as a strange warmth rushed through her chest. She had waited for this moment for so long, but now that it had finally come, her voice betrayed her. Should she say yes, or should she just let his eyes tell the story? There was something in his gaze, something intoxicating, that stole every ounce of control from her. He stepped closer. Now, there was no space left between them. Slowly, he reached out and took her hand. And then he said the words that made her heart collapse in on itself. "You're the most beautiful mistake I've ever wanted to make." In that moment, everything stopped. Time, air. Even the pounding in her chest seemed to hold still. The world outside disappeared, leaving only him and her. She tried to hide her smile, but the warmth of his lips lingering so close made it impossible. Her pulse was no longer her own. It was beating in rhythm with his. He wanted to say more, but words weren't needed anymore. The silence between them was already writing a story. He leaned in closer, his voice low, almost trembling. "I think I'm addicted to you," and the look in his eyes said everything he couldn't put into words. She suddenly realized how empty her days had been before this, how every moment without him was just wasted time. Now, standing this close, she finally understood what it felt like to be alive. As if pulled by something beyond control, he cupped her face in his hands. And for a second, the universe itself seemed to fade away. Just him, just her. And then it happened. His lips pressed against hers in a kiss so raw, so deep, it stole her breath away. It was gentle at first, almost cautious. But the moment their mouths truly met, there was no turning back. It was fire. It was hunger. It was everything they had ever been too afraid to say out loud. Her fingers tangled in his hair, pulling him closer. His lips moved against hers, desperate, hungry, filled with a need that had been building for too long. And in that kiss, everything was confessed. The love, the longing, the madness of wanting something that felt forbidden, yet so right. Each second stretched into eternity. Every brush of his lips sent shivers down her spine. And when he whispered her name between breaths, she felt her entire body melt. It didn't feel like reality anymore. It felt like a dream she never wanted to wake up from. But when his hand slipped to the small of her back, pulling her closer, she realized this was no dream. This was real, and reality had never felt so dangerous. Her laughter broke softly between kisses, but it only made him crave her more. Every sound she made was music. Every touch was fire. Every glance was a confession of the feelings they had both kept locked away for too long. And she thought to herself, why can't this night just last forever? There was no fear anymore, no hesitation, only the undeniable pull between them. And in that pull, a new desire was born. A hunger that no words could ever satisfy. He kissed her again, slower this time, as if memorizing the taste of her, as if promising her silently this wouldn't be the last time she could feel it. This was only the beginning. And yet already it felt like everything she had ever wanted. The world outside didn't matter anymore. The only thing that mattered was the fire burning between their lips, their hands, their bodies. It was more than romance, more than lust. It was something dangerous, something life-changing. And that night, nothing would ever be the same again. Her lips still burned from his kiss. Every part of her body was awake, alive, trembling with a desire she never thought she would feel. But somewhere, deep down, there was a shadow. a quiet voice asking a question she wasn't ready to face. "What happens after this?" He pulled her closer, his breath hot against her ear, whispering words that melted her bones. "I don't care what happens tomorrow. Tonight, you're mine." Her heart skipped, but it wasn't fear. It was surrender. Her hands roamed his chest, tracing every line, memorizing him as if she was afraid he would disappear. And the way he touched her, gentle yet desperate, it felt like he was memorizing her too. Every second was a confession. Every touch was a promise. But promises she knew could break. Still, she didn't stop him. She didn't want to. Their kisses grew heavier, needier, until even breathing felt like a crime. She thought to herself, this can't just be a moment. This has to mean more. And then he said the words that made her freeze. "I've never felt this with anyone else." Her eyes widened, her heart soared, but also twisted in fear. Because if he had to say that, it meant there had been someone else. Her breath faltered, but his lips silenced her thoughts again. Every kiss felt like an answer she couldn't question. But inside, doubt was quietly creeping in. Who was she? Does she still exist in his heart? The thought stung, but the way he held her, the way he pressed her against the wall as if he couldn't survive without her, it drowned out everything else. "Stay with me," he whispered, and she wanted to say yes. She wanted to give him everything. Her body screamed for it, her soul craved it, but a part of her was afraid. Because sometimes the things that feel the most right are also the most dangerous. She tried to push the thought away, but his lips found her neck, her shoulder, her skin, leaving trails of fire that made her forget her own name. She closed her eyes, surrendering again. This was too powerful to fight, too beautiful to resist, and for hours they drowned in each other, in kisses, in whispers, in touches that said what words could never say. It felt eternal. It felt unstoppable. But nothing lasts forever. When the night finally softened, when their breathing slowed, he lay beside her with his hand still resting on her waist. She turned to look at him, her heart swelling with something terrifyingly close to love. And then she asked the question that had been haunting her. "Tell me the truth. Have you said these words to someone else before me?" The silence was brutal. He looked away, her chest tightened. That was the answer. Tears stung her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She wanted to be angry, but his hand on hers was warm, sincere, almost pleading. "I thought I loved her," he finally said, his voice broken. "But then I met you, and now I know. She was never the one." Her heart cracked and healed at the same time. The words hurt. But they also healed, because sometimes love begins in broken places. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe she was the one who mattered now. But deep inside, the seed of doubt had already been planted. Would she always be living in the shadow of the one who came before her? She smiled anyway, pretending her heart wasn't at war with itself. And he kissed her again, passionately, desperately, as if he wanted to erase the truth he had just spoken. And for a moment, it worked. For a moment, she let herself drown again. But as dawn crept through the window, painting the room in soft light, reality returned. She saw his phone buzzing on the nightstand. Her name wasn't on the screen. It was hers. The her he said he didn't love anymore. Her blood ran cold. She didn't move, didn't breathe, didn't speak. He grabbed the phone, quickly, silenced it, and looked at her with panic in his eyes. And in that moment, she knew. The truth was darker than he wanted her to believe. The kiss, the whispers, the promises. They were real. But so was the lie. Her chest ached as she realized the cruel twist of fate. She wasn't the only one. She was just the secret. And that night, the most beautiful mistake of her life became the one that would haunt her forever.